Hi guys, in this video I want to prove to you that the more load that's placed on an alternator, then the more energy that's required to drive it. So that the more consumers you turn on, that rotor winding will stay on for longer. It has a very powerful magnetic field and the engine will have to do more work to drive the alternator. Stress will come on the engine, which means that more fuel will need to be injected to increase in order to drive that alternator. So what I'll do is we're just going to run the engine at idle speed and we're going to observe the opening time of a fuel injector. So here I have the scope inserted to measure one of the fuel injectors here. Okay, so we're going to be able to see that here on the screen of our oscilloscope. Okay, so let's give the engine a start. So at the moment there's no electrical consumers on, and if we just come over to the screen of our oscilloscope here for a second, okay, so we're measuring roughly 10 milliseconds from left to right. Okay, so here the injector is off, it's turned on, so the injector is on across here, and here at this point the injector is turned off again. Okay, so we'll come back to that later in the course when we're doing the petrol engine management. Okay, so at the moment we're just interested in the opening time of our fuel injector. Now each division along here is 2 milliseconds. So at the moment this injector is opened for just short of 3 milliseconds. That's the opening time of the injector to deliver fuel into that cylinder. That's just under 3/1000ths of a second. Okay, so what will happen as I start turning on electrical consumers, the alternator will be that more difficult to rotate, to drive, so the engine will end up having to inject more fuel, the engine ECU. Okay, so what will happen is you will see this portion of our scope image will actually increase, okay, as more fuel will need to be delivered. So again, before we do this, at the moment we're looking at opening time of just under 3 milliseconds. So now I'll turn on some electrical consumers. Not sure if you can see that there now. So I'll turn on my headlights. So just with the headlights on, our injector opening time is slightly over 3 milliseconds. So it's increased slightly by just turning on the headlights. So if I turn on my heater blower, and now our opening time has gone to just under 4 milliseconds. And we'll also put on our heated rear window. And my injector opening time is now nearly 4 milliseconds. So we've gone from just under 3 milliseconds to nearly 4 milliseconds. If I start turning off all these consumers again, my injector opening time will reduce. So again, we turn off all the consumers, turn off my lights, blower fan, heater window, and now my injector opening time again is gone just below 3 milliseconds.